I still remember her smile that morning. The way she handed me my coffee, kissed my cheek, told me not to be late for dinner. It was the kind of smile you wait years for. The kind that makes you forget the little cracks forming underneath everything. I had no idea that by nightfall, I'd be staring at the same smile, but seeing a stranger behind it. Her name was Claire. We met at college. She was always the brightest person in the room, not because she tried to be, but because everything about her seemed to glow. I was quieter, more grounded, the guy with a plan. She liked that about me. At least that's what she said back then. We got married young, built a life in Ashridge, just outside St. Louis. Nothing fancy, just ours. We had 2 kids, a golden retriever named Max. Movie nights on Fridays. Birthday parties with those cheap streamers that never stayed taped to the walls. I wasn't rich, but I gave her everything I had. The first time I noticed something was off, it was small. Claire started going to yoga more often, then book club, then just coffee with the girls. At first, I didn't think twice. I mean, after 15 years of marriage, you stop tracking every calendar invite. But then came the nights she forgot to call. The texts that took hours to answer. The phone that was suddenly always on silent. Max, our dog, would sit at the door waiting. Kids would ask, "Is Mom coming home soon?" I'd smile. Of course. Just running late. She always came back. Always smiling. Always saying, "Sorry, work ran over." Or, "You wouldn't believe the traffic." And for a while, I believed her. Because believing her was easier than imagining the alternative. I had a best friend once. Derek. We grew up together. Shared a locker in high school. He was the best man at my wedding. He started coming around again. Out of nowhere. At first, it felt good. Familiar. But then he'd ask weird questions. "Claire working a lot lately? You two still good? You trust her, right?" Felt random. But now, looking back, I think he knew something. Maybe everyone did. Except me. One night, I found Claire's phone on the kitchen counter. Unlocked. Notifications popping in like a heartbeat. I wasn't the type to check. I hated the idea of snooping. Felt like it would say more about me than her. But something pulled me. I tapped the message. It was from someone named Eli. I didn't recognize the name. But the words, I'll never forget them. Can't stop thinking about last night. The way you said my name. I didn't scroll further. Didn't need to. That was the moment the world cracked in half. And the first person I wanted to call was Claire. But she was the reason I couldn't. I didn't confront her that night. Instead, I sat in the backyard for hours, staring at the stars, trying to convince myself I misread it, that it was fake. Old. Nothing. But deep down I already knew. The woman who kissed me that morning, she was already gone. The next morning felt like a performance. Claire moved around the kitchen like everything was normal. She laughed at something the kids said, called me babe like she had for years. And I sat there, sipping coffee I couldn't taste, wondering how many times she'd done this before. I wanted to say something, to rip the mask off. But the kids were right there. So I waited. That night, after they were asleep, I walked into the living room. She was curled up on the couch, scrolling through her phone, feet tucked under her, glass of wine in hand. "Hey," I said. She looked up. "Hey." I didn't sit. "I need to ask you something." She straightened. "What's going on?" I didn't want to play games. "Who's Eli?" She blinked. Didn't answer right away. Then, "Where did you see that?" I didn't say. I didn't need to. There was a pause. A long one. Then she exhaled. I knew this would come out eventually. Not "I'm sorry." Not "let me explain." Just acceptance. "How long?" I asked. She stared at the rug like it had answers. "A few months," she said. "It wasn't supposed to be anything serious." I didn't speak. She kept going. "It just happened. He's younger. It's exciting. I don't know. I didn't mean." I nodded slowly. Not because I forgave her, but because I needed her to keep talking. "You didn't mean to hurt me," I repeated. She looked up. "I still love you." That stung more than anything. Then why did you say that to him? I asked. She froze. I'd never seen her go pale so fast. What did you read? She whispered. I quoted it back. Word for word. Can't stop thinking about last night. The way you said my name. Her lips parted like she wanted to deny it. But she didn't. Instead, she whispered, "It wasn't about love. It was physical," she said. "Just chemistry." I shook my head. "That makes it worse." She stood, walked toward me. "I don't want to lose you." "You already did." We slept in the same house that night, but in different worlds. She cried in the bathroom. I heard her through the door. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the photo of us from 10 years ago. Vacation smiles, sun in her hair, my arm around her like I could keep time still. That version of us? Gone. I didn't yell, didn't pack a bag, didn't slam any doors. But in that silence, I think she understood. I was never coming back the same. The next morning was slow. Claire didn't say much. The kids were eating cereal at the table, arguing over who finished the last of the milk. And I stood there, watching a life I didn't recognize anymore. She looked at me once, eyes red, trying to read my face. I looked past her. She knew. Later that afternoon, my son, Nate, came into the garage. He was only 12, but smart. Too smart. "You and Mom had a fight?" he asked. I didn't answer at first. Then I nodded. "Is it about that guy?" he added. That hit me harder than I expected. "What guy?" "I don't know." I heard her on the phone. She said something about needing space. "And Eli doesn't G." He trailed off. I crouched next to him. "Look," I said. "You're not supposed to worry about this stuff. This is between me and Mom. But you're sad." I smiled, the way parents do when we lie through our teeth. "I'll be okay." He nodded. But I don't think he believed me. Neither did I. That night, Claire cooked dinner. Like nothing happened. Roast chicken, mashed potatoes, the works. She even lit a candle. We ate quietly. The kids talked about school. Nate said he might try out for basketball. Our daughter, Lily, said her art teacher was mean but probably just tired. Claire laughed in all the right places, touched my arm once, offered me more wine, and I realized she was pretending. Pretending we could act like none of this happened. Pretending we could eat dinner and smile and sleep side by side like she hadn't ripped our marriage open with her own hands. I played along. But in my head, I was already gone. Later, she sat next to me on the couch, turned off the TV, spoke in a quiet voice. "I don't want to lose our family." "You already said that," I replied. "I mean it." She hesitated. "I'll stop seeing him." I looked at her. "And why now?" "Because I see what I've done." I got caught up. It wasn't about him. It was about me feeling lost and stupid and needing something. "That wasn't me," I said. She winced. "That's not what I meant." "It's what you said." She grabbed my hand. "I want to try. I'll go to therapy. I'll cut contact. Please, just give me one chance." For a moment, I saw the woman I married. But then I remembered something she said just days ago. "I'm not giving him up. The way he touches me, it's the best I've ever had. Some things can't be unsaid. Some things echo forever." I pulled my hand away, stood up. "I'll sleep in the guest room." Her eyes welled up. "I still love you." I paused. "I believe that. But love isn't the problem. Respect is." I started therapy that week. Not couples therapy. Not marriage counseling. Just me. I sat across from a woman named Monica, who wore cardigans and had kind eyes. She didn't ask why I was there. Just waited. So I told her. Not everything at once. But enough. "My wife cheated," I said. "She says it didn't mean anything. That she still loves me." "And what do you believe?" she asked. I didn't answer for a long time. Then finally, "I think I stopped believing anything she says." After the session, I didn't go straight home. I called my old friend, Kel. We hadn't spoken in a while, life, distance, kids. But he was the kind of guy who didn't need updates. Just facts. "You good?" he asked as soon as I said hello. "No," I said. Claire cheated on me. Silence. Then, you want me to slash his tires or just drive by real slow? I laughed for the first time in weeks. Tempting. He got quiet again. You leaving? Not yet. Why not? I didn't know how to answer. Because of the kids? Because of routine? Because walking away meant admitting it was really over? Or maybe because part of me still didn't want to be the guy who gives up. That night, Claire made my favorite pasta. She wore the necklace I bought her on our 10th anniversary. Told the kids she and I were working through some things. I guess that was her version of honesty. After dinner, she handed me a small envelope. I booked us a weekend away, she said. Just the two of us. No pressure. Just time. I looked at the card inside. Spa resort. 2 nights. Lakeview. I nodded. Thanks. But in my chest, something turned. Because I could see what she was doing. The gestures. The apologies. The planned intimacy. She was building a new version of our life. One where her betrayal could be smoothed over with effort and dinner and working on it. But I wasn't in that version. Not anymore. The next day, Monica asked me, "What would healing look like for you?" I thought about it, and finally said, "Healing would be walking into a room and not wondering if I'm the punchline to someone else's joke." She nodded, wrote something in her notebook. That evening, Claire came to the guest room. She didn't knock, just stood there. "I canceled the weekend," she said. "I can tell you're not ready." I nodded. She sat on the edge of the bed. "You're pulling away," she whispered. "I am. Can I ask? Is there someone else?" That caught me off guard. "No," I said. "There isn't." She looked relieved, and I realized she wanted me to hurt the way she did. Wanted balance. "I'm not going to cheat just to even the score," I said. She looked down. "I just don't want to lose you." I stayed quiet, because deep down I knew she already had. I called the lawyer on a Tuesday. His name was Brian Keller, and he came highly recommended. Clear voice. Direct. Zero fluff. After 10 minutes on the phone, he said, "Mike, I've seen this story more times than you think. Let's get ahead of it." He sent over forms that same day. Asked for financial records, marriage certificates, tax returns. It felt strange. Pulling together proof of a life I was now preparing to dismantle. But it also felt right, like taking control of something I didn't break, but still had to fix. Claire didn't know about the lawyer yet. She still floated through the house like we were in a slow-motion montage from a movie about recovery. Extra hugs for the kids. Random compliments for me. Clean counters. Folded laundry. Scented candles. But there was tension behind every smile. Every movement felt rehearsed. Thursday evening, I walked in from work and saw her with Lily, our daughter. They were baking cookies, something Claire hadn't done in months. When I entered, Claire said, "Your dad's home. Show him what we made." Lily ran up, chocolate on her cheek. I smiled, picked her up, tried to enjoy the moment. Claire walked over, wiped flour from her hands. "I think it's helping," she said softly. "What is?" "Being present. Showing them we're okay." I didn't respond, because I wasn't going to lie to my daughter or myself. We weren't okay. Later that night, my son, Nate, knocked on the guest room door. He sat on the edge of the bed. "You're not coming back to your room, are you?" I looked at him. He was 13, but he'd seen more than I wanted him to. "Not right now," I said. He nodded. Quiet. "I heard Mom crying yesterday," he said. "She said she made a mistake." "She did." He looked at me, unsure if he was allowed to ask more. So I helped him out. "She hurt me, Nate. And sometimes, when someone breaks trust like that, it doesn't go back to normal." He looked at his hands, then up at me. "I get it." And in that moment, I could breathe a little deeper. The next morning, I got a call from Claire while I was at work. She didn't ask how I was. Didn't ask about my day. She just said, "Nate isn't talking to me." I didn't say anything. Then she added, "I feel like you're turning them against me." That made something in me snap. "I haven't said a single bad word about you to them," I said. But they're not stupid. They feel the difference. Silence. Then, are you filing for divorce? I paused, then answered, yes. She started to speak, but I ended the call. Some things didn't need discussion anymore. That night, I sat alone in the backyard. Same place I had sat the night I read that message. But this time, the sky didn't feel so heavy, because I wasn't stuck in the question anymore. I was moving toward the answer. She came into the kitchen like she was walking onto a stage. I was making coffee. The kids were still asleep. Sunlight barely touched the floor. She cleared her throat like it hurt. I know you talked to a lawyer. I didn't turn around. Okay, I said. She waited for more. I didn't give it. I thought we were working on this, she said. We weren't, I replied. You were pretending. I was surviving. She stepped closer. I could feel the air shift. I'm not ready to give up. I finally looked at her. You gave up the moment you looked at someone else and decided he was worth risking our entire family. Her face flushed. I told you it wasn't love. That doesn't make it better. She crossed her arms. I've apologized. I've tried. I've cooked, cleaned, stayed home, gone to therapy. And none of it erases what happened, I said. It doesn't erase the months of lying, the disrespect, the way you made me feel invisible in my own house. She slammed her palm against the counter. So that's it? You don't forgive? You just throw away everything? I didn't flinch. No, you did. She started crying. Not the soft kind. The kind where you break from your chest, hoping volume will substitute for meaning. I made a mistake, she sobbed. You're just cold. Not cold, I said. Clear. She collapsed onto a chair. I miss you. You miss not being guilty. Later that day, I took the kids to the park. Just me and them. We threw a frisbee, got popsicles from a cart, laughed at Nate's horrible cartwheel attempt. Claire texted twice. I didn't answer. When we got home, she was waiting in the living room. Eyes red, phone in hand. You've turned the kids against me. No, I said. You're still their mom. But they're allowed to see the truth. They're just kids. And they see more than you think. She stood, voice rising again. Do you really want them growing up watching their dad give up? That one almost got to me. Almost. I want them to grow up watching their dad protect his dignity, I said. That's something they'll carry forever. She didn't say much after that. Dinner was quiet. The kids felt the shift. Even Max, our dog, stayed curled in the corner. That night I went out back again. And for the first time I smiled. Not because I was happy, but because I was finally done performing. 2 days after I filed, she knocked on the guest room door. Not barged in. Knocked. That alone told me something had shifted. I opened it. She stood there holding a folder. Can we talk? She asked. I stepped aside. She walked in like she'd been rehearsing. I know I've said a lot, she started. And none of it probably matters anymore. But I need you to know I'm serious. I said nothing. Let her fill the silence. I've been reading, watching couples' videos. I even signed up for a marriage retreat. Without you. She paused. Looked at me. I'm doing the work. I nodded. That's good. For you. Her lips trembled. I want one more chance. A real one. Just one gesture. Something that shows I mean it. I sat down. You can meet with the lawyer. She blinked. What? You want to fix something? Then be fair. Honest. Don't drag this through mud. Sit down with my lawyer. Go through everything together. No tricks. She looked like I'd slapped her. I'm trying to talk about us. I'm talking about us. The version that ends clean. With dignity. She sat on the bed, folder still in her hands. This isn't what I thought we'd become, she whispered. Neither did I. I thought we'd grow old together. I nodded. So did I. Until I realized you were building that future with someone else. Tears welled in her eyes. I wish I could take it back. You can't. That's the thing about choices. We don't get to rewind them just because we hate the ending. That night she cooked again. The kids helped. The food was good. Too good, the kind of effort that only shows up when something's dying. She asked if we could all eat together. I agreed, for them, not for her. Dinner was soft. Lily talked about a class project. Nate asked if we could get a dog just for him when he turns 15. We all laughed, even Claire. But when our eyes met, there was no spark. Just two people on opposite sides of a river that used to be a road. After the kids went to bed, I found her on the porch. She had a blanket wrapped around her shoulders. She looked like someone else's memory. "You really won't try again?" she asked. "No. Not even for the family?" I exhaled. "I am doing it for the family. They need to see what self-respect looks like." She didn't answer, just stared at the dark sky. And I realized, for the first time since this began, I didn't feel sorry. Claire showed up 10 minutes early. She wore the blue blouse I always liked. Hair done, makeup soft, like she was trying to turn back time. I arrived 2 minutes before the appointment. On purpose. Brian, my lawyer, greeted me with a nod. He had a folder in one hand, tablet in the other, and the kind of quiet confidence that only comes from seeing everything. We entered the conference room. Claire was already seated. She smiled when she saw me. I didn't smile back. "Thanks for agreeing to this," she said. I nodded, sat down, opened my folder. Brian took the lead. "Claire, thanks for joining. Today's purpose is to establish fair terms. This isn't about blame. It's about clarity." She nodded, folding her hands in her lap, then turned to me. "Can we talk? Just us, I mean." Brian looked at me. I shook my head. "Everything that needs to be said is right here." She hesitated, then looked down. The session lasted an hour. She argued over little things. The car, the couch, a painting her mother gave us. Not because she cared, but because she needed control. At one point, she sighed dramatically. "This is so cold. You used to be warmer." Brian leaned forward. "This isn't cold, Claire. It's legal." She blinked, and for the first time in that meeting, looked small. Afterward, we walked out into the parking lot at the same time. She followed me to my car. "Mike!" I turned. She took a step closer. "I know this looks like I'm the bad guy. You made choices. I was confused. You were consistent." She swallowed. "You're not even angry anymore." "I don't have to be." Her voice cracked. "Then why does it still hurt?" I met her eyes. "Because you know you lost something good." That night, I sat with Nate in the living room. He was playing video games. Paused when I entered. "You okay?" he asked. I smiled. "Yeah." "You still gonna live here?" "For a little while." "Will we have to choose?" That one hit diff. "No," I said. "You don't have to choose." He looked relieved. But before I left, I added one thing. "You just have to remember who stayed honest." After the meeting, I didn't hear from Claire for a while. No texts, no emails, no late-night accidental calls. I figured she needed space. Or maybe she finally realized I wasn't going to change my mind. What I didn't expect was to hear about her and Eli, again. It came from someone I used to work with, an old friend of Claire's. She said they were seeing each other again. She moved on fast. The message read, "Hope you're doing okay." I stared at the screen for a while. Not angry, not jealous, just surprised it didn't sting. It used to, but now, it felt like hearing about someone else's mistake. Turns out Eli wasn't who she thought he was. Sure, he was fun, exciting, said all the right things when no one was watching. But once she was available, actually free, he changed. No more sweet messages. No more stolen moments. Just cold replies. "Busy. Can't tonight. Let's not rush things." Claire didn't admit it, but I could tell. She looked tired. Not physically, emotionally. Like someone who bet everything on the wrong future. Meanwhile, I was rebuilding. Not just the logistics, new accounts, a place of my own, routines with the kids. I was rebuilding me. I started going to the gym again. Picked up a part-time consulting project. Took the kids hiking on weekends. And I laughed more. Not at her. Just, in general. Lily noticed it first. "You smile different now," she said one night. Different how? Like you mean it. Claire reached out again. Sent a message. Can we talk? Just once. I didn't answer right away. Not out of spite, but because I genuinely didn't feel the urgency. She followed up a day later. I just want to explain things better. Please. I replied with one line. We said everything we needed to say. She didn't write back. One Saturday, while picking up groceries, I saw Eli. He didn't notice me. He was with someone else. A woman younger than Claire. Laughing, holding hands, no guilt in sight. And I thought to myself, this was the guy she risked everything for. This was the fire she lit her life with. And now all that was left was smoke. Claire texted me again. But this time it wasn't about us. It was about the kids. Can I take them to dinner? Just me and them. I need time with them. First, I didn't respond. Then I read it again. It didn't feel manipulative. It didn't feel kind either. Felt desperate. I talked to Nate and Lily that night. They were watching a movie on the couch. Max, our dog, asleep at their feet. Your mom wants to have dinner with you. Just the three of you. Nate paused the movie. Lily looked up, frowning. What for? She asked. Probably just to talk, I said. They exchanged a look. Then Nate said, okay. She picked them up Friday evening. I watched from the window. She hugged them tight, like she hadn't seen them in years. And then they were gone. They came back 2 hours later. Quiet, tired. No visible signs of drama. I didn't ask anything. But when Lily hugged me goodnight, she whispered. She cried a lot. I nodded, kissed her forehead. I know. The next day, Claire texted me again. They seemed distant. I don't know what to do. I stared at the message. Felt the familiar pull, the one that said, maybe explain, maybe help, maybe be the nice guy. But I didn't respond, because she wasn't reaching out for the kids. She was reaching for control. That weekend, I finalized the lease on a new place. Smaller house, closer to work. Enough space for 2 growing kids, a dog, and a man who no longer had to ask permission to breathe. I didn't tell Claire right away, not to hide it, just because it didn't concern her anymore. Moving day came fast. Nate helped carry boxes. Lily labeled everything with markers and smiley faces. I watched them arrange their rooms, decorate their shelves, argue over which drawer should hold snacks. Felt like starting over. But not from zero. From peace. Claire texted once more. I heard you moved. Just wanted to say I hope you're okay. I didn't reply, because I was okay. And that didn't require permission. It had been 3 months since the move. The new house wasn't perfect. The backyard was smaller. The water heater made strange noises. And the dishwasher had to be kicked just right to start. But it was mine. Ours. The kids settled fast. New routines. New memories. We ordered pizza every Friday. Played board games on rainy nights. Even let Max sleep on the couch. Something Claire never allowed. Claire didn't visit much. First she tried. Offered to drop things off. Asked if we needed anything. But I kept it short. Told her everything was handled. Because it was. One night Nate and I were watching a game. During halftime he said, I don't miss the old house. I looked at him. Really? He nodded. Too many fights. It was always tense. I like this better. Lily overheard from the hallway. She chimed in. It smells better here. We all laughed. Simple words. But they meant more than they knew. Meanwhile, Claire was slipping away from everything. Eli had vanished. Friends stopped coming around. Her sister messaged me once, asking if I knew how she was. I said I didn't, because I didn't. And honestly, I didn't need to. One afternoon, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. No return address. It was from her. 3 pages. Full of reflection. Regret. Some memories. Some apologies. But the line that stuck out the most was this. You were never the villain. I just stopped seeing you. I folded the letter. Didn't reread it. Didn't reply. Some things are meant to end quiet. At work, I got promoted. Led a new team. Started mentoring someone younger. He asked how I stayed so calm under pressure. I smiled and said, experience. But what I really meant was, I've already survived worse. She texted me on a Thursday. Would you meet for coffee? No pressure. Just closure. I read it twice, not because I was unsure, but because I wanted to feel something. I didn't, but I replied anyway. 1 hour. Saturday. At the old place. She arrived 5 minutes early. Same way she used to for date nights. She looked smaller somehow, like someone who'd lived through their own storm and didn't quite know what was left standing. Thanks for coming, she said. I nodded. She smiled like she expected sarcasm. Didn't get it. We ordered, sat across from each other, and for a minute there was silence. Not tension, not awkwardness, just two people with nothing left to lie about. I've been thinking a lot, she said. I'd hope so. She nodded. I ruined something that was good. I said nothing. I thought I needed more. I thought you were holding me back. But you were the only stable thing I had. I stirred my coffee. Didn't look up. I'm not saying that to get you back, she added. Good. She swallowed. I just needed to say it. I finally looked at her. You ever ask yourself why it was so easy for you to leave? She blinked. I didn't leave. You left every time you chose him. She looked down. I know. And now, she shrugged. I'm alone. I miss the kids. I miss peace. We sat there for a few more minutes. She didn't cry, didn't beg. Maybe she finally understood it was too far gone. Maybe this was her last attempt to rewrite the ending. She pulled something from her purse. A photo of us, 10 years ago. Vacation. Beach. Smiling like the world was small and safe. I keep this, she said. Not to hold on. Just to remember who I used to be. I didn't touch it. Because that version of her wasn't mine anymore. When the check came, I paid it. Not to be noble. Just to be done. She stood up slowly. Take care, Mike. You too, Claire. And then we walked away. Not back to anything. Just forward. Spring came quietly that year. No announcements. No grand gestures. Just open windows, warm light, and the sound of my kids laughing in the backyard. Felt like something was thawing. Not just the weather, me. Work was steady. We launched a new project. I was leading a team that actually listened. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was faking it. Then I met Emily. Not on an app. Not at a bar. She was standing in front of the same shelf I was browsing. Picked up the last copy of a book I'd just been eyeing. She saw me hesitate. You want it? She asked. I smiled. Only if it's worth stealing. She laughed. Handed it over. I've read it already. It'll wreck you in the best way. I thanked her. We talked for 5 minutes. Swapped recommendations. Didn't exchange numbers. Not then. A week later, I saw her again. Same bookstore. This time, she remembered my name. Offered coffee. It wasn't a date. It wasn't flirting. It was two grown people sharing a table and a moment. And it was easy. Emily didn't ask about my past. Didn't pry. She listened. Laughed at the right parts. Let silence be comfortable. We started seeing each other casually, slowly. I never rushed it. Because for once, I wasn't trying to fix anything. I was just living. The kids met her after a month. Lily liked her instantly. Emily brought art supplies and didn't talk down. Nate took longer. But one day after she left, he said, she's cool. Different from Mom. I smiled. Yeah, she is. One Saturday, we all went hiking. Max ran ahead. Lily collected rocks. Emily helped Nate with his camera. I stood there looking at the scene and realized I wasn't surviving anymore. I was happy. I'm not sure how Claire found out. Maybe from the kids. Maybe from the photos Nate posted online. But she didn't say anything. Just liked a photo. No comment. No message. Just silence. And honestly, that was all I needed. It had been 6 months since I'd seen Claire in person. We didn't talk. Didn't message. Didn't fight. There was nothing left to fight over. We shared custody. Split holidays. Agreed on school events. but it was all email and scheduling apps. And that worked fine. Then she asked for something different. Can I take them for the weekend? Just us. No pressure. I stared at the message for a while. Not because I didn't trust her, but because I knew what this was. A reach, a try, a thread she hadn't pulled in a while. I asked the kids. Nate shrugged. Sure, I guess. Lily asked, will Emily be there? No, I said. Oh, then maybe. I didn't push. I'm not making the call, I told them. You decide. They talked about it that night. I heard bits through the door. She might cry again. It's just 2 days. I don't want to pack. Normal stuff, kid stuff. But it meant more. They ended up going. Packed light. Left Friday afternoon. Claire picked them up, said thank you, and didn't meet my eyes. That was new. When they came back Sunday, I was waiting on the porch. Nate walked up first. Dropped his bag by the door. She bought a new coffee table, he said. Cool. Didn't match anything. We both laughed. Lily hugged me longer than usual. She's trying, she said. I nodded. That's all anyone can do. She paused before going inside. But it's better here. That night, I got a message from Claire. Thanks for letting them come. It was quiet, but nice. No follow-up. No strings. Just words. I appreciated that. Because sometimes growth is knowing when not to ask for more. The next week, Nate had a school project. He needed help filming something for media class. Emily offered to help edit. He said yes. Not because she was trying to be cool stepmom, but because she never tried to be anything she wasn't. And that mattered. I got a photo from Lily later that week. It was the 3 of us on the couch, Max included. Her caption read, "This feels like home." A year passed faster than I expected. Seasons changed. The kids grew taller. Emily moved in. Not because I needed someone, but because she wanted to stay, and I wanted her there. We weren't a perfect family. We forgot groceries, lost socks, missed a dentist appointment once. But we laughed. We said goodnight without tension. We left the past alone. And that was more than enough. Then came the school fundraiser. Parents everywhere. Tables with raffle baskets. Kids running around with sugar-fueled chaos. I was helping at the drink station. Emily was organizing volunteers. Lily was painting faces. Nate was DJing from his phone. And then I saw her, Claire. She stood by the entrance, alone, holding a small donation bag, looking like she didn't quite know where she fit. We hadn't spoken in months. No reason to. No anger left. Just nothing. She walked over slowly, not interrupting, just approaching. Hey, she said. I nodded. Hey. We stood there, surrounded by noise. How are they? She asked. You can ask them, I said gently. She smiled, the kind that hides 1,000 regrets. I know. A few seconds passed. She looked at Emily across the room. She's good with them. She is. She makes it look easy. I shrugged. She doesn't pretend. Claire looked down. I used to pretend a lot. I didn't correct her. She already knew. Before she left, she said one more thing. I never said thank you. For what? For not ruining me. You could have. But you didn't. I met her eyes. I didn't need to. She nodded once and walked away. That night, back at home, Nate put on a movie. Lily passed out halfway through. Emily curled up next to me with a blanket over her knees. And I thought to myself, this isn't victory. This is peace. And peace was all I ever wanted.